To the podcast, hablemos de lo nuevo. For the G's, by the G's, que pasa en el terreno. Vienen jugadores y se van, traiga lo nuevo. A huevo. Doesn't matter where you from. Salvador, Mexico, Honduras, Nicaragua. Todo mi latino, come and listen for an hour. TikTok, que traemos lo que quiere. Todo lo que pasa dentro y fuera de las redes. Really? You don't know what it is. Reportamos con la lupa what we see at the digs. En las buenas y en las malas yo diré la verdad. Si cometen un error o tienen habilidad, la calidad del rival cuando viene a jugar. Facts. Yo no me muerdo la lengua. Got love for the crest in the city I came from. Los campeones de campeones y con copas mi race. No empezamos el programa, soy la voz de LA One. Soy la voz de LA One. Love. Yeah.
Hello, hola, and buenas, and welcome back to another episode of La Cuna Galaxiana, a podcast made with love for all you LA Galaxy fans, wherever you may be out there in the world. And indeed, today we want to bring all Angelinos, regardless of what team or what you support, into our hearts and into our thoughts, because today, Ananda, folks, chat, we're gonna be covering a little bit about these LA fires that continue to rage. We'll share the latest information with you and about how the LA Galaxy are front and center trying to do their part, and indeed all the LA sports teams, as well as maybe how you can start to do yours or continue to do yours if you've already done so. We'll also get you caught up on anything and everything that's happening in LA Galaxy land regarding transfers. Plus, MLS has a new way to buy and sell players. We're excited to bring you back one of our favorites. Today, we have a very, very special guest once again with us, Eric, the Portuguese Hammer Vieira. He's going to be here with his thoughts on the Galaxy transfer window thus far. We're going to get to him in a little bit. But before we go any further, let me introduce myself. My name is Rob Halon. You can find my written work at Extra Time Talk and myself right there, just like the tag says, at El Escudero de LA. And of course, you can go ahead and catch my co-host as well there at his tag, and he is Ananda Kirana, el yerno guapo, el gitano perdido, y el nuevo papá de la natita, papito. Hey, man.
¿Qué pasó?
Es un tiempo difícil, ¿no?
Yeah, it's super tough. Maybe we might share some personal stories as well just over the last few days. But first of all, I just want to say what's up to chat and hope you guys are doing well. Primo Alex in the chat. Bonanit, Alex. One and only Rocio. G-Cam always in the chat. Scott, hope you're doing well and hope you are recovering well.
Yeah,
bro. Raul G, of course, always in the chat. Big Leo, always in the chat as well. Just
Big Leo, who I'm gonna have to start talking to here pretty quick, in case you don't remember that Loving G's February Valentine's Day article. So Leo, look out for that DM incoming pretty soon.
That should be a good one. Valentine's Day is in a month, man. It's a month as of tomorrow, so you better get on that, Papa. You got 30 days. I'm pretty sure you got to reach out to the homie Astrid and Edwin too for their little love story, because you were front and center. So
of course, and a couple of other couples as well, and it's, you know what, G's loving G's. I love it, man.
Yeah, but again, hopefully today, guys, of course, we are gonna touch on the fires, because of course that is a huge topic around the SoCal area. But just, we're gonna get to it, but of course thoughts and just, heavy thoughts and prayers to everyone that's been affected, obviously. But we'll get to that in a little bit. But hopefully this is a little bit of an escape. Like honestly, YouTube was for me during COVID. That's kind of one of the reasons why, if any of you guys caught that box to box episode we did with Goals TV, sort of the origins of La Cuna Galaxiana, this is an escape, right, for a lot of us. I know for you and I, there's the first one, Rob, for the
Fernanda.
for the both of us.
That's a
Yeah,
key shot for you now when the season at the
that's
season opener.
that's blessings for both of us, sir.
Mm.
But yeah, this is an escape for all of us. So
Yeah,
hopefully we can provide you some of that relief in the
yeah, for
next
sure.
60 minutes. Yeah.
Bueno, dale, ya sabes lo que sigue. You know what's next. Go ahead and hit him with that big housekeeping.
So yeah, just get that out of the way before we go to the shout outs and the announcements. Of course, we're gonna talk about the fires in a little bit here. But of course, guys, you can always follow me, block me, or stalk me at my tag there, like Robert said earlier, at Ananda Galaxiana is the handle. And the handle for our YouTube channel and our show is very simple, at Lacuna Galaxiana, all one word. You guys can find us on Instagram and X. That's where we usually do most of our information posting. And of course, guys, we are on the race to 500. Hopefully we're going to get to 500 subs.
One away from 420.
There you go. So right before the new season. So guys, if you have not yet, because we know a third of you that do listen to the show, whether on live or on playback, are not subscribed to us yet. So guys, if you do like what you're listening to, please go ahead and support the show by subscribing to our YouTube channel, giving us a like, go ahead and sharing it with your familia, your primos, like Rob says, your elotero, todo que está trabajando en la bodega, just everyone, man. Just, put someone on for sure. And of course, if you do want to donate to this lovely little pod, go ahead and donate to our Chata Fund at buymecoffee.com/Lacuna Galaxiana. But to be honest, why don't you guys go ahead and donate to people that need it more, which is the people that are hurting right now.
Sure.
So
we'll talk about a couple of those directly in the G community here in a moment.
Exactly. So you guys can do that. And of course, Roberto, como siempre, antes de olvidarme, buenos días, tardes o noches. Y bienvenidos a otro capítulo de Lacuna Galaxiana. Season 3, Papa. Season 3. We're not canceled yet.
Season 3, we are not canceled. We might get canceled here in the next couple seconds. So Project Glow Stick, number 420. Project Glow Stick, let me just say, you will always be near and dear to my heart for being number 420 in our subscriber list. So thank you so much. I like this. Que ondas, cuneros. I like that. Is that what we're going with tonight? I like it. But yeah, guys, Ananda did mention we were on that episode of Box to Box with Gulls TV. Pretty soon here, we'll be on another episode with Gulls TV. We're going to be breaking down this Jalen Neal trade, and as well as maybe the incoming Sanabria trade. But we'll let you know more info about that. But yeah, man, like we mentioned at the top, it's a tough time for everybody. It feels kind of, I don't know, it feels kind of almost wrong to like be here speaking about like soccer, when so many people are going through so many things. But like Ananda said, I mean, we can only hope to provide you that escape that you guys might need. Maybe you guys just need to forget about everything for a while. I know that my wife and I have been glued to news or like just taking in every piece of information that we can. Latest figures are not encouraging. There's nearly 40,000 acres lost. More than 100,000 people have been displaced, evacuated, or lost their homes. More than 12,000 buildings have been destroyed, and historic landmarks that have been there for 100 plus years. And unfortunately, at least 24 have lost their lives. So, just remembering our fellow Angelinos that lost their lives in the struggle. We did mention that, there are a couple of G's out there that are personally feeling this one. Thoughts and condolences to all affected, and thank you to all the first responders out there, firefighters that are out there doing their thing. Especially, I want to send a special shout out to firefighters and people that are out there, first responders that are out there that are incarcerated and are out there giving everything for their fellow Angelinos and for cents on the dollar and with no appreciation. So my heart goes out to them, especially all the animals that have been displaced. Everyone knows that I love dogs. I love animals. I mean, we're a big animal family. So these videos of animals just roaming the street, confused as hell, like what is going on, like where am I supposed to be, and even worse, animals that were left behind in the mad dash to try to save lives. my heart goes out to them, and man, it's crazy everything that's going on in Onda. I myself had to evacuate a couple of days due to the Eaton fires. Was lucky enough to be able to shelter with mom and dad in the AV. Thankfully, there was no impact to our family, and really now it's just the process of starting to give back or trying to give back any which way we can, and along those lines, the Galaxy is having their donation drive. They had it all weekend. They're extending it today and tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day in Legends Plaza. There's a lot of stuff that's needed, guys. Masks, water, hygiene products, soap, toothpaste, creamer, disposable coffee cups, baby formula, cereal, pet supplies, reusable bags, safety and first aid items, single-use utensils and plates, all kinds of toiletries. I've heard that a big need is bath towels. So you guys, if you can get out there and get those bath towels that you're not living on right now, and then give them to someone that needs them. And may I remind you guys, and Galaxy Mom had some really good about this. Don't just donate things that you're like, oh, I don't need this anymore. Donate things that you yourself would use, and just there's got to be a level of dignity as well to the help that we try to give. So the Galaxy are going beyond that. They're uniting with 11 other local franchises to pledge a combined $8 million to all those that are affected. These are pretty much all the major LA sports franchises here. Some of that money is going to the American Red Cross, the LA Fire Department Foundation, World Central Kitchen, always doing good work. Chef Jose Andres there. Several wildlife and animal rescues will receive funds. Pasadena Humane Society has been front and center through the Eaton fires, and Ananda, that's where I got Kobe from. So just hearing that they need help spurred us into action, and we've been in contact with them and about how we can help. Fanatics, they're distributing $3 million worth of merchandise to evacuees. That's different merch. And of course, they're also doing the LA Strong campaign here, which includes all LA sports franchises. I last saw that they were $35. This all goes to relief efforts. ACB, we got to shout them out, man. They've been doing work, man. Angel City Brigade, practicing what they preach. This, saying true Los Angeles and true Angelinos, and they're living it, man. They've collected items to donate through all of Los Angeles, and they're in K-Town at the YMCA and Flint Ridge Centers. They're also looking for housing for pets of all kinds, including birds. And they've gone so far as to get hay for horses and stuff like that. A Galaxy Mom as well. We mentioned her. She put out the call for one of the Galaxy community. The Douglas and Rodriguez families, that's a family of 8 impacted by the Altadena Eaton fires. They've lived in Altadena for 25 years. So this is, your community, guys. They lost their home in Altadena, and they have a GoFundMe right now. GoFund.me/7F71A. Sorry, that's /7F718 FE7. So Nana's going to go ahead and flash that here in a moment, so you guys can go ahead and get that down. And then the Podfather over at Corner of the Galaxy put out a call for another fellow G, Steve, and his wife. It was actually Steve's wife's birthday when they lost their home. Here you see Steve and his son celebrating MLS Cup 10 years apart to the day they lost their home, that family of 4. He described that he can only grab a couple of just his one favorite Galaxy hat and a few jerseys. His GoFundMe, his family's GoFundMe is GoFund.me/0FD663F8. Again, Ananda's going to go ahead and flash that one as well, guys. So if you guys have an opportunity, you guys can go ahead and donate. This is all going down in Los Angeles, and it hits really close to home. But personally, our thoughts as well are those are with those affected by the earthquakes in Japan and China as well. There was also an earthquake in Guayaquil, where my parents are from, in Ecuador. So our thoughts and prayers are with all of them. Not a. I don't even know what else to say about all this, man. This is tough time. Everyone knows I'm a crier. Shed a couple tears for my city, and it's really disheartening to see just the destruction, the devastation. But at the same time, it's amazing to see Angelinos standing up and helping their community and their brothers and sisters in this time of need. So much so that, when I check these GoFundMe's, one of them is just a shade under their goal, and the other one is more than halfway there. So that just gives you guys an idea of how much Angelinos are out there helping Angelinos, and to all those that are trying to ruin things, trying to sow division, people out there actually starting fires. I mean, I don't even know what to say to these people, man. I mean, this is a terrible time. They're trying to add to it, but I'm just heartened by what I see from the community and what is going on with them. So
yeah, I second that. I second that quite a bit, and especially for me personally, just my personal opinion is I think it's way too soon to point fingers, blame, politicize. I think let's keep the subject on where it needs to be, and that is the people that are grieving and that have lost basically everything. So and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, guys, if you have been impacted by anything that's happened, there's help. I mean, there's a lot of people going above and beyond. I know there's a lot of musicians in the Galaxy community. Guitar Center has offered to replace all instruments. I know that since LA is Tinseltown, it's Hollywood. That makeup artists that lost their kits and their gear in the fires, they're getting those replaced as well. I mean, it's just, on one side it's terrible to behold and terrible to live through, and on the other side you get to see the best of humanity, and kind of gives you a little bit of faith that at the end of the day we're all in this together. So we're I don't know if you're religious. Wifey's got me praying these days, so just whoever you are, whether you're in the G's community or not, because right now this is the time for trivial tribalism. We're praying for you in this family, and me, wifey, and Kobe Cosmo, we're sending you our best. And I think that's, like Forrest Gump said, all I have to say about that. Let's get into some Galaxy stuff, man. You ready? We gotta bring on the big man here pretty soon. So
let's lighten up the mood for sure.
Yeah. Something that's gonna lighten up the mood a little bit is the Galaxy has a promising young player in the pipeline. Welcome to Vicente Garcia. The Galaxy have signed the 14-year-old academy standout to a homegrown deal. The dual national has spent time with both the United States and Mexico and is a highly talented young central midfielder. He first starts with MLS Next Pro, then that's his pathway to the first team. Scouting report on him is that he can comfortably play any midfield position and his left foot dominant. So, I mean, you're looking at a guy that can play the 10, that can play the center midfield box, and even the defensive midfielder, if the scouting report is to be believed. This is heartening because another instance of the Galaxy developing young talent. And as we know, Greg gave that young talent a couple opportunities, at least in the CVI, to show what they can do. So I can't wait to see this young man at some point, maybe in a year or two there at the CVI, certainly with VCFC pretty quick, right?
Rob, sorry, really quick, super off topic. Gary, can you enlighten us on what is the Forbidden Rift in Guitar Center? Because I thought I knew, but I guess I don't, because I'm head scratching. What is the
Yeah,
Forbidden
dude,
Rift?
it's Stairway to Heaven.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, yeah.
I've heard a couple though.
That's a Wayne's World thing. Where
Oh,
like
right.
yeah. So but yeah, there are a couple of like quote unquote forbidden rifts. Like Freebird is another one of those that like
Yeah. There you go.
Freebird or Blackbird by the Beatles is another one. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so now that we went completely off topic, happy birthday to Juninho. Juninho. 3-time MLS Cup winner. Translator for Gabriel Pecchi this year as well. 2011, 2012, and 2014 is when he won those cups with the Galaxy. 2-time Supporter Shield winner. He's currently the head coach of the LA Galaxy U19 team. Played for the Galaxy 209 times in all competitions, scoring 19 goals and provided 27 assists. And he was an MLS All-Star in 2011 and 2015. Met this guy a couple times. Got to talk to him in the locker room during the celebrations. Class act, Galaxy legend. Much love to him. Hope he had a beautiful day. New JP is about to drop, y'all. He teased his new song with the Bisa Kade. He said they are cooking up something big with the big man right there. So if you guys hear me saying big after everything today, it's JP's fault. I've just been reading that tweet all day.
Rob,
Yeah.
our season 4 promo picture, guys, will be Rob and I in these getups right here.
Oh, can I wear the white suit, please?
Oh, you can wear whatever you want, Papa, because that is some drip right there. That is some drippy drip.
All right, cool. Well, watch out for that, guys. We did mention HCB earlier and their relief efforts. They will be having 121 Day. Guys, if you don't know, 121 Day is a celebration of Angel City Brigade and their founding. And so on Sunday, 119, this one's going down since 121 is actually during the week this year. So that's going down at Downey Brewing Company. Go ahead and hit up ACB for more information on that. Guys, the trailer for the Major League Soccer documentary has dropped. That premieres 2/21 on Apple TV. There's a lot of good clips of Ricky talking about the pressures of coming from Barcelona and La Masia, and it'll be interesting to see kind of how he lives his day to day. There is a couple of good shots of a really good Spanish restaurant in there called Teleférico. So once you guys see this restaurant, you guys are going to want to go have that paella and grub down. So shout out to the Teleférico family out there. So yeah, guys, what part, go ahead and drop this in chat. What part of the LA Galaxy season in 2024 are you kind of hoping to see some behind the scenes of? Well, Ananda, I think it's time, man. I think we got to bring on the big man himself, right? Just like JP says.
Let's go.
Well, we're bringing him back once again. Friend of the show, star left winger for Liga G side Lacuna Matata, and just about one of the coolest dudes that we have the pleasure of knowing, the Portuguese Hammer Vieira. What up? Welcome back.
What's going on, fellas? What an introduction. Again, I almost forgot about my playing days. The thumbs are getting a little rusty. So maybe I need to get back in there.
Oh yeah, we got to get a game for sure. I mean, everybody's been kind of like lagging on picking up the sticks. I mean, the captain included. I mean, how long has it been since we've seen Ananda on the sticks, man?
Yeah, it's been a while, man. But this EAFC 25, just I'm not feeling it, Papa. Not feeling it. A lot of people aren't feeling this new 25.
Yeah.
Hammer.
I was gonna say we're also just living in the afterglow. MLS Cup winners, 6 stars. We don't need to bother ourselves with
getting all mad at FIFA.
No disrespect to Liga G, but hey, we got other things to celebrate and to be happy about. And shout out to you guys for dropping all those links about the fires and for all the people in need. That's what it's all about: bringing everyone together. Being that platform to put it out there. That's should be the focus right now. We don't need to worry about Liga G and all that stuff. FIFA, we'll worry about that another day.
Exactly, man. Well, we have everything going down here in Los Angeles, but we know you're out there in Texas where there's been snow and inclement weather there. So how are you and the fam holding up?
Yeah, you know what? It wasn't too bad. Obviously, all things considered, and when things going on everywhere, a few inches of snow and it drying up after a couple days, we can handle that. Staying in, an excuse to have some snowball fights. You almost feel guilty about it. Being able to enjoy the time with your family, getting the day. We had a couple snow days off of school, so that's always a plus. So we got to enjoy it and spend some family time together. So obviously, snow, not the most fun thing in the world. It's not like we're living in, terrible situations, but we got a couple days of snow and we're already past that. So we'll see how it goes. So nothing compared to other things going around the country, especially there with the wildfires in LA. Snow was, the least of my worries. So we did all right.
Well, we're going to try at least to take chat's mind and these listeners' minds off of the everything bad that's going on here in the world, and we're going to try to bring them some relief in the way of some shenanigans, and just listen to us mouth off about the Galaxy for a while. But there was something that you were kind of talking about the other day on Corner of the Galaxy. We did talk about this documentary that's about to drop on 2/21, right? And you were saying that it should debut earlier. For those in chat that missed it, go ahead and tell us why.
Yeah. Basically, it's debuting on February 21st, and then MLS is back. The opening weekend of games is the 22nd and the 23rd. And as excited as I am for this season, because we all know how the story is going to end. So again, I think we're all looking forward to how we're going to get through that and all the behind the scenes look of it. I think part of it being connected to the Drive to Survive team and, it being that F1 documentary that kind of took off, there created a fervor where people watched that and then became fans of F1 because they saw the personalities and then latched onto their drivers, latched onto those team chairmen, and then they moved on from there. I think if you're trying to bring in a casual base or someone who maybe isn't as familiar with the league, you debut it a couple weeks before, maybe even a month in advance, let those episodes drop, let people buy into it. And then once you get into it and say, hey, I've watched, Ricky eating paella. I'm Spanish. I enjoy a good paella every once in a while. Let me latch on, and maybe the LA Galaxy becomes your team for the casual person who's, tuning in, and then they become, an MLS fan from that perspective. So again, what do I know? I'm just a guy who lives in, snowy Texas, but I think that would help grow the game and kind of build a following. Who knows, as the season goes on, maybe, gain some traction. And as the season goes, those stories can still develop. So it's not to say that can't still happen, but just for me, I feel like having it all drop the same weekend just feels like overwhelming. It seems like it's going to be around the corner. So building up to it, I'm someone who likes a slow burn and to get there. So I feel like a little bit of a missed opportunity there.
Yeah. You did mention though that we do know how the story ends. It's a good ending. I liked it a lot.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoiler alert, just in case you guys didn't know. But sometimes I sit down and I'm getting ready to jump on with Ananda, and it still doesn't feel real to me, man. Like I'm still like, did that really happen? Was I there? Did I actually see Ricky getting driven around in a beer cooler? Was that legit? Like, what about you, man? Like, you were on at the beginning of last year, kind of like around the same time, and you were like, we're looking ahead to 2024. This is going to be the year. You were a brujo. You called it, right? So you were there, right? So how do you feel right now? Like, does it feel real? Like, do you have perhaps another brujo take to drop on us right now?
Well, you're not going to want to hear my brujo take because it may not be as optimistic as this season was. I think part of me being so optimistic about 2024 was with how poor 2023 was. So it was almost like it can't get much worse than this. So it's got to look better moving forward with some of the contracts and older players that you knew that they had to move away from. And so that gave me the hope and, the wish and the knowledge that, hey, with things trending in the right direction, 2024 could be a season where the Galaxy turned things around. And fortunately, I was proven correct. I think at the beginning of the season, with the signings of Gabriel Peck and Joseph Paintsil, with the new single dropping soon, what a blessed day to get that kind of news coming out. We knew that these players had potential, but you never know until they get out into the field. And we were mentioning it on Thursday's show on Corner of the Galaxy, that I think that Miami game, when you saw players on the field, you say, okay, something's different here. And from that moment forward, everything, all the stars just aligned from the run that they were able to make where they were sitting in first place for so long with the Dan Stairs, decision day going wrong, but actually it going right in the end. And Dan Stairs kind of making the path one of the easiest paths to MLS Cup.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah. So it just, all the stars kind of aligned this season. And I was hopeful, but I'd be lying to you if I told you that, it's absolutely going to be an MLS Cup winning year, because I didn't think that they were going to do that. But it goes to show you with this league that if you just get the right pieces and you avoid injuries for the most part, obviously Ricky going out, but for the most part all season long, the injury bug wasn't a major concern. You were able to survive that, and you had your players step up in big moments, and it was just a magical season that you sit back and you look at it and you think, man, that was quite a year. We didn't want to believe it because of the trauma that we've had from 2017 to 2020 and those dismal seasons with the Zlatan gap in between being the shining light in there. But I think we're going to look back 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and say, man, this 2014, that might have been one of the best LA Galaxy teams.
Well, I mean, I even look back at it now, Hammer, 3 months after, and every time I think about the season that we had, it was just unexpectedly special. And now that I see how hard it is to win in this league year over year and to keep those rosters together, we've said it on the show many times, but we have to savor this, guys. I'm still like, I get giddy every time I think about it still, right? Because it was such a special season. And again, came unexpectedly. So, and now that I'm seeing how this league works in MLS 3.0 or the current version of MLS, however you want to call it, man, it is really hard to win in this league year over year. I think, the dynasty that we had in 11 to 14, I think that was once in a blue moon. And I think it's going to be very hard to replicate as we'll talk a little bit later, for sure.
Yeah. That's looking forward to 2025 because of the injury to Ricky Puig and the ability to repeat. That's why I'm maybe not as optimistic about 2025. Doesn't mean that things can't happen and they can't align in the right way, but that's maybe I'm not as, I feel like they can't do it again, can they? And that's just that thought keeps going through your head. And to button it back to one point you were making about drinking it all in, you and I were chatting on MLS Cup evening, and we were kind of two of the stragglers in the parking lot. Yeah. And there was something about not wanting to leave, just wanting to stay there and stay in the moment. And I think there were a lot of people who maybe hung out a little longer than normal. And it was because with the perspective, knowing how special it was, we had it great where, the LA Galaxy were winning MLS Cups. It was just a given that that's how things are supposed to be. So now going in there and with that perspective, it made so many people appreciate it that much more.
Yeah, Rob, no te lo conté, but like, dude, I'm pretty sure there was about 20 to 25 seconds of just silence between Hammer and I. We were literally just embracing the moment in the parking lot. Oh, it was beautiful, man.
I would have loved to have been there. This I can imagine you and Hammer outside, kind of like at the end of Ocean's 11, and
exactly.
WC's playing, and you guys are just looking at the fountain, man. And it was a special day. Galaxy won their 6th. Hammer goes shirtless in the stands again. I mean,
yeah, you have to do it to him. If you have to come as expected. People were going to say, is the top going to come off if they win it? Yeah, you have to deliver to those promises that you make.
Yeah, give the people what they want. Exactly. Well, you've mentioned it. Ananda's mentioned it. Like the just how hard it is to repeat as champions, especially with the amount of quality now in the league, and especially because it's so hard to keep MLS teams together. Well, today the league announced some new financial rules. They introduced a cash-based trade system. Just to get you guys caught up, there was also an increase across the board on a couple of key figures here. So the salary cap has gone up in 2025 from 5.47 to 5.95. GAM is up to 293 from 2585. TAM is up from 2.4 to 2.225, which brings your total spend on your roster to 11.105. So Tommy Bogart, the Stash, the man with the good gambit hair, of course, doing work. He was the one
samurai hair now. Samurai hair. I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah, I saw the half up, half down.
Yeah.
Yeah, good job, man. So anyway, he broke the story today on this cash-based internal trade system. So MLS is calling it the cash for player trades, according to Tommy. It allows teams to spend transfer fees on players within MLS for the first time. Previously, teams could only trade allocation money, players, or other MLS-specific assets to acquire players. So this is really, really big, guys. Like now, it's not like, okay, so this player for this much in GAM, now they can send like true cash monies. But clubs are limited to 2 per season and selling 2 per season. So they can buy 2 with cash and sell 2 for cash. But of course, teams can still make trades or do anything they want with all kinds of GAM, TAM, Wham, Bam. Thank you, ma'am. A couple of players that are already looking like they will be the first ones to take advantage of this are Portland Timbers' Evander and FC Cincinnati's Lucho Acosta. What do you think, Hammer? Is this positive for the league, or is it just like more crazy things to remember with MLS financial rules? Do you think the Galaxy are going to be able to take advantage of something like this?
I think the answer to your questions are yes and yes. Yes, I think it is going to help the league, and yes, it's another machination of silly, funny money things that are going to impact the league. I think for a team like the LA Galaxy, who's not afraid to spend money, we've always wanted, hey, why can't we just go buy a player that we want, or why can't we go include a trade and it has to fit within certain levels of TAM and certain levels of GAM, and it just becomes this puzzle piece, which is why good GMs are why they are, because they're able to figure out how those puzzle pieces work. And so this just eliminates the red tape of it and just says, you know what, we're going to trade you this asset for cash, and then done deal, and then you wipe your hands and then move on to the next one. I think the league probably likes a little bit because of the single entity of it, having those funny money rules where they have to fit within certain boxes. So I think limiting it is actually a good idea. That way it doesn't become a free for all, because then it does keep that parity, but allowing teams to do that. I think the teams that are hungry are going to be able to do it. And I think where you really see it have an impact is teams who maybe or like the LA Galaxy in 2024, who maybe things weren't looking like they were going to be a contender halfway through the season. You start realizing who's a contender. And then if you haven't used these cash for player trades, that's where you're going to start doing it. And then maybe a team that is not doing as great as they thought they were doing, and can figure out, well, can we get some cash to load up for next season? Or can we get a player, that maybe can keep in our back pocket who maybe is injured. And then we can look forward to building, in 2026. And that could be, the strategy that comes along with it. So I'm a fan of the move, especially for the teams who want to become contenders, because that's what you want to see down the line. Is you want to see the teams who are getting hot, peaking at the right time, adding and more to it and becoming more successful, and the teams that are not and trending in the wrong direction, not holding on to those pieces and kind of making the game more exciting towards the end of the season.
Yeah, there's this is going to add another kind of not wrinkle, but another aspect of this whole silly season of the transfer window, right? I mean, you're already seeing some moves go down, and Hammer, I want to get your grades on these, some of these big transfers that have gone down, especially because some of them involve the Galaxy's direct rival. But before we get into MLS transfers, I want to talk about a transfer that happened in Liga MX. El colombiano, el parce, James Rodriguez to Club León. I don't know if you guys saw this announcement video, but it's damn near Gladiator 3.
I missed it, man. I got to check that out after this pod.
It is 3.5 minutes of I'm just like, damn, they had the budget for this? Like, what's going on? Like, there's hundreds of extras. There's like James in full Roman gear. Like, it's rad. I've never seen an announcement like this. Of course, the Galaxy rolled out Douglas on a chair and a couple of samba dancers. So, so there is a difference. But credit to them. Galaxy killed it with everything video and merch and everything this year. But yeah, going over to MLS transfer news. There's a couple of big ones that have already happened. We'll start with the team that the Galaxy beat in the Western Conference Final to get to MLS Cup. The Sounders are reloading, retooling. It seems like they have finally found their number 9 after our Barce Nico Rolo saying that Jordan Morris is in 9. Well, they have their 9 now. His name is Jesus Ferreira. The Sounders acquired Ferreira from FC Dallas in exchange for midfielder Leo Chu, $1 million in 2025 GAM, $500K in 26 GAM, and up to $800K in additional GAM if performance metrics are met, plus an international roster slot. The 24-year-old arrives in Seattle following 8 years with FC Dallas. He was in the academy. He grew up there. He was selected to 2 MLS All-Star teams and was a 2022 MLS Best 11 selection there. He has 53 goals, 34 assists, and 163 career regular season appearances. And he's started for the U.S. men's national team with 15 goals and 23 career caps. As part of the deal, he also agreed a new deal with Seattle for 3 years with club options in 28 and 29. And a steal because he will not occupy a designated player spot. They also retain, FC Dallas, that is, also retain a percentage of future transfer fee if he has moved outside of MLS or within the league. Sounders then went out, recently re-signed Albert Rusnak and João Paulo to new contracts. And today, the news broke that Ferreira's teammate at FC Dallas, Paul Arriola, former Galaxy target, from FC Dallas, is also joining Seattle. Dallas gets a first-round super draft pick, $300K in GAM, and he also signs a new 3-year contract with Sounders. Hammer, did the Sounders just get a lot more scary because they have a proven goal scorer at the 9, or does it remain to be seen kind of how he fits in? What do you give him this transfer for a letter grade?
Yeah, for a letter grade, I think it's a B plus. I think it's a good signing for them. All my neighbors are leaving here. Jesus Ferreira and Paul Arriola. Here in near Frisco, Texas. This is where Dallas is kind of one of those teams living in the area that I kind of follow along when no one's watching. Obviously, always going to be LA Galaxy diehard, but being a fan of the league, there's someone who I kind of keep tabs on. And it does seem like with the addition, they added Peter Musa, who's the real deal up front. It seemed like Ferreira really didn't have a spot. Crazy that he's only 24. So I think there is stuff still in there. He's still got a lot in him. And it's just a matter of, what's he going to be able to contribute? It reminds me kind of like a Giassi Zardes to Columbus move, or maybe just a change of scenery. And in this league, he's going to be able to get some things done. Yeah. So I think it's a good pickup for Seattle. If you want to put on your tinfoil hats, if MLS is kind of, puppeteering the strings with Seattle being in the Club World Cup, it does seem like they want to try to, if these things were happening, you want Seattle to be your MLS representative who's going to be as strong as possible. So it seems like maybe there's a nudge, to other clubs. If you have, contracts that you want to offload, maybe Seattle is the place where we can do that. I believe Dallas is also losing Alan Velasco, who's another one of their good players. So it just seems like either Dallas,
Argentina,
getting rid of everyone and leveraging for 2026 already. But so it does seem like if you have your tinfoil hat on and you're a conspiracy theorist, maybe it is that they're pumping up Seattle, or it could just be the reality of it is Seattle knows that they're going to be in this competition and they need to pull out all the stops and do whatever they got to do to strengthen their roster so they can basically not embarrass themselves in that Club World Cup tournament.
Yeah, and they've started well. I don't think they're done either. I mean, we have a good friend, part of the show, friend of the show. I mentioned him a couple moments ago, Nico, and he's out there, reporting on these moves, and just from what it sounds like, that he says Seattle's not done. But another rival of the Galaxy in the Western Conference is also retooling. Well, when I say rival, I just mean that they're in the same Western Conference. It's not a direct rival, no real big rivalry there. But another big transfer that went through in this league was Brandon Vasquez to Austin FC. So they acquire Vasquez from Monterrey. He signed a 4-year designated player contract with Austin through the end of 2028 and an option for 2029. They traded $50K in 2025 general allocation money and $50K and 26 GAM to the San Jose Earthquakes to get this deal done. Austin also adding ex-LAFC midfielder Ilie Sanchez as a free agent from LAFC. However, their number 10, Sebastian Driussi, his future is in doubt. If the rumors are to be believed, he is also going back to Argentina, to Estudiantes or River Plate. Hammer, What about this one? Vasquez, Austin, new number 9. Letter grade for this one.
I don't want to give it an A because it can be an A if he delivers, but so I'll give it a B for now with the ability for extra credit to bump it up to an A later on in the season, because he has the potential to be a leading goal scorer, Golden Boot winner in the league. So it's just a matter if the other pieces mesh around him and are able to get him the ball. I like his profile. I like his style. I like the way he plays. I think he's proven that he can get it done in this league with his time in Cincinnati. And so now it's just a matter of that continuing to transfer over and having that success in Austin. I think it's a good move for Austin. We've talked about Seattle, talked about Austin. I'm sure there's some other teams that we're going to talk about. It seems like everyone else is improving, which is possibly why I wasn't as optimistic at the open of the show for the LA Galaxy. Again, nothing against the LA Galaxy. They still have their core, but everyone else is getting better.
Rob, real quick, in terms of before you get to that point, just I don't know if you mentioned it, but part of the deal was I think the cash figure there was 10 million. I mean, that U.S. men's national tax is pretty steep, I would say, because he is a proven goal. I mean, he was very good in Cincinnati. I need to probably look up his goal scoring tallies in Liga MX, but man, that's quite a bit for a young U.S. men, starting to break into the U.S. men's national team type of player.
Yeah, well, it's funny because he scored some bangers in Mexico, but they didn't give him like any love there. I don't know why. I mean, he wasn't there long. It certainly seems that his time there was cut short. But hey, if Austin is willing to shell out 10 million for him, I mean, why not Monterrey? Right? They're gonna get that bag. GCam says there was 14 goals in Liga MX. That's not an insignificant return. Nope. Maybe they were expecting 25, 30 a season. Who knows? But all right, Hammer. So if you gave those both B's or like B pluses, right? Certainly, you're going to give getting an MLS MVP candidate for 1.4 in GAM. You got to give that an A, right? Yeah, of course. That's that Chicho Arango to San Jose Earthquakes deal.
I think that's a no-brainer, and that's for them to land Chicho Arango and Joseph Martinez. Joseph Martinez, better days obviously behind him, but that's a scary looking attack when you go the other direction. And I think you see what Bruce Arena is building, and it just breaks your heart to see that Bruce Arena is pulling the strings in San Jose, because that they're going to be competent. I know I don't know if this is as much of a family show as COG, but a joke that I always make about Bruce Arena is he's missionary position. It's not something you brag about, but it's effective. And
it's the job done.
It does what it's supposed to do. And Bruce Arena just knows what type of player is going to be successful in this league. And so he brings in, your players who are not going to be flashy. They're not going to be big name signings, but they're going to be able to get it done. And so you see, aside from Arango and Martinez, the type of players that Bruce Arena is bringing in, it's like, okay, these are just MLS guys. I always, joke around. You need your Jeff Larenowitzes of the world. Those are the players that kind of make or break your MLS Cup winners, are having those, backup players who come in and know how to play and are able to slot in different positions and win you games in July and August to get through that, dogs days of the summer, and then be successful, in the playoffs. So I think Bruce Arena, for what he's doing in San Jose, you have to begrudgingly, gritting my teeth, give him an A for the work that he's done.
Oh yeah, he's killed it so far, man. I mean, this attack in San Jose now is no joke. You got Chicho up there, you running the wings with the Christian Espinoza just behind him. You have that Hernan Lopez there playing decent ball as well. What I don't really think they have right now is like a true defensive midfielder. I don't know if that my countryman Carlos Grueso is really lived up to his designated player billing over there. I would venture to say that he's been kind of the disappointment actually for them. So I think they're kind of lacking that DM to cover that defense. But yeah, like you said, Hammer, it's you're like, damn, Bruce, you're doing it, and then you remember like who he's doing it for, and you're like, oh no, I don't mean that. I don't
like this one bit. Yeah. And with MLS being what it is, who needs defense, right? just the score. You can win these games 6-2 like the Galaxy did in some of these
True.
playoff matches. So, but who needs a defense nowadays?
Yeah, and they lost Jackson Ewell too, Robert. So yeah, that definitely, I think they do need to retool that part of the team construction. But man, like I could just see Espinoza. If you read the stat sheet or the box score after Espinoza to Chicho Arango, Espinoza to Arango, like I just could see that all day. Whip deliveries. I mean, Espinoza's got one of the best, if not the best, delivery in MLS. I would argue from that right hand side. So yeah, that's going to be a deadly combo for sure. I mean, Chicho's going to eat those all day.
So Hammer's given this an A. I think you'd be hard pressed to find anybody that's like, oh, this is a bad deal for San Jose. It might be a bad deal for RSL. Who knows why they let this man go for 1.4 after they spent $6 million on him? But San Jose Earthquakes get their man for 1.4 million. The 29-year-old La Joya de Medellin is what they call him, the jewel from Medellin. And it's crazy because, like I said, it's not even like, it's not even a lot of game. It's 1.4 split over 2 years, so it's really $700K each year. He is really the centerpiece of what Bruce is trying to build there. This a marquee signing, a statement of intent. Bruce wasn't lying when he said that John Fisher was going to back him. I guess I have to eat my words. A couple months back when I said Fisher wasn't going to loosen the purse strings, but of course he didn't really, because they got him for 1.4, right? So in case you guys were keeping tabs, Jeremy Ebobisse, who was San Jose's leading number 9, he's now with LAFC. And of course, just like Hammer mentioned, getting Joseph Martinez just is that extra little topping on top, a proven goal scorer in this league. Yes, the knees may not be there. The best days are behind, perhaps, but this is a man who has quality. Damn it, Bruce. That's all I gotta say.
Martinez, you mentioned it, but it reminds me of the saying, form is temporary, class is permanent. Martinez just has class. Like he knows how to do it. Maybe the form comes and goes, but that's a guy who just knows how to get it done.
Yeah. You know what? Sorry, going back to the earlier conversation, guys, before you get to the next topic, Rob, I see it makes me wonder now and that's the thing that was weird for me with the announcement today about the cash-based transfer, just the timing of it. Like, why do it now sort of in the middle of transfer season when all of these moves have happened before? So it makes me wonder, like, how many of these deals would have been a cash deal, for example, and what benefit would that have given to some of these front offices to not give up so much GAM, right? Because some teams like the Galaxy, for example, we only have $3 million in GAM, thereabouts. So it's interesting now moving forward. Are the transactions, like how many teams now start using that cash-based lever versus your typical
cash does the Galaxy have?
I don't know. I mean, we had we had a pretty decent stack of cash last summer or our last transfer window, right? So for
Hammer, any idea?
The bucket is limitless from what I understand. AEG continues to print cash. So depending, I haven't read the rules on if there's a cap to how much cash you can transfer, but I would imagine the Galaxy are up there, because I know last year, Chef Kuntz had to, go and make his case for getting the cash to bring in those 2 designated players. So the money is there. It's just a matter of making the cases. Is there going to be a return on investment here? And I think that's what it comes down to.
This is probably one of those rumors that is just a rumor, and anytime there's an off season, it's rumored. But Galaxy finally bring in CR7 with unlimited amount of money. What do you think, Hammer? Cristiano now to the Galaxy?
I think those days are gone. I'm finally off that train. It took me till 2025 to
that was your resolution
to reject my my Lord and Savior there. I think the move made sense right up until about Saudi Arabia, and I think we've seen it's no longer worth it to pursue him.
Right. Just as much as I mean, I have some love for the guy too, because he was at Manchester United, but ultimately, like, man, what did he do to that dressing room, right? But A question for you though. We had Don Fabio Renko, who out there in the Twitter sphere, pose a query here earlier in the season or earlier in the off season. Leandro Campana moved from Inter Miami. Brandon Vasquez to Austin, Chicho Arango to San Jose. Out of these three strikers, who would you have taken, Campana, Vasquez, or Chicho Arango?
Ooh, I've always had a soft spot for Arango. I think LAFC was crazy for not holding on to him because he was someone who just terrified me whenever the Galaxy played against him. He just always managed to find the back of the net, and that's who I'd pick. I like Vasquez as well. Campana I'm not as high on, but I think Chicho is the one who, out of those three, he's a no-brainer, and why I gave San Jose the A, because I think he's going to be the one who delivers the most this upcoming season.
Absolute steal. I mean, he was a shoo-in almost for MVP last year until that little suspension happened, and then the bust-up happened with the team. Golden Boot, pretty much a shoo-in as well. So, I mean, his pace was ridiculous last year. Almost, I think he had a 30-goal pace, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, the absolute steal, man. Like, damn it, Bruce. Damn it.
Yeah, he was on a run for sure, and then what happened in the second half of the season? Who knows? But it probably contributes to his exit, right? Real quick, want to show some love to TM. Says finally catching you guys live. Good morning from 7 a.m.
Wow,
Belgium.
Rob, we're international,
worldwide.
We're international, exactly. Mr. Worldwide. There you go.
What is it? What they say? The Galaxy says locally grown, globally known. Jeez, I hope that happens. Thanks, TM. We appreciate it, man. Ananda, what about you? Campana, Vasquez, or Arango? And then we'll go ahead and start bringing it home here.
Easy one. Arango, man. Arango, just proven goal scorer.
So.
He's had the form even the last 3 years. So no, I'm not going to be a contrarian for contrarian's sake, like I always say, Rob.
Well, it might be the summer of the big MLS strikers, right? Because if you believe reports, then Atlanta United have submitted a bid in the region of $22 million for Middlesbrough striker Emmanuel Latelath. That's according to Sky in Italy. In 2023-24, he scored 16 goals with 1 assist in 30 matches. So far this year, he has 10 and 2 in 26 matches. It would be the new MLS transfer record fee in the event that the deal is completed. Borokis, of course, is managed by former Manchester United great Michael Carrick. They're 5th in the table. It's interesting to me that they're willing to let one of their proven goal scorers go in the middle of the promotion hunt. But if this gets across the line, Hammer, $22 million for a guy that's banging them in the championship. What do you give this kind of deal?
I just have to do the Shaq meme. I apologize. I'm not familiar with your game. I don't know enough about the striker, but $22 million for a championship level striker just doesn't add up to me. It doesn't make sense. Maybe there's something special that, and it's just me being too much of a casual and expecting a household name or a name that maybe there's more familiarity there, but I'm not as familiar with the game to see, that type of money for an MLS record fee for, someone coming from Middlesbrough. The math doesn't math for me.
Right. That's actually something that I was reading from Atlanta fans is that, they were saying for $22 million, bring in, a proven name, like we don't know if this guy is any good.
Rodriguez. That's a name where if you said that, I wouldn't be shocked. Obviously, there's some baggage that comes along with it, but that in my mind makes more sense.
Yeah.
Well, $3 million of that goes to the announcement video.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, $22 million, you might get an unproven goal scorer, at least in this league. But for $20 million, you guys get 2 DP level players that are future MLS champs. There you go, guys.
There you go. Done and done.
Well, so those are MLS deals. There's really nothing that's gotten over the line or been announced officially by the Galaxy. The big win we've already talked about, that's Sanabria. We'll give you some updates there on that in a sec. One that's been talked about probably for the last day and a half that might be picking up steam. We're still trying to keep our ears to the ground on this one. Is João Grimaldo reports out of Serbia link the 21 Peruvian with the Galaxy. He's a winger. He's currently with Serbian club FK Partizan. Only he's not getting a lot of playing time. Only 7 matches played for them in 2024. That's, of course, after a move from Sporting Cristal after 17 matches. He scored 3 goals and 3 assists before the transfer in 2024. 7 goals, 4 assists in 32 matches in 2023. He is a full Peru international. Interestingly enough, he already has an MLS page, so that one gives me kind of like, ooh, is this going to happen?
Something's there.
Yeah, so a lone target for the Galaxy been reported, but he's also been linked with San Diego. Of course, Hammer, this is a loan, so not really sure how the mechanisms on the financials work here, whether the Galaxy would pay his salary or how that would work. But I think just based on seeing him play in Peru's internationals in Commonwealth qualifying, not a bad player. I was surprised that he's not getting time at Partizan. Just from what I've seen him play, has good technique. He can hug the line. He can take his man on, puts in a good cross. So not a bad option for the Galaxy. So just reporting that one out there for you guys. Of course, not a lot said beyond that. So if to just put you guys' mind at ease here, like this one is not hot. It's just kind of like a rumor out there. But the one that is hot, yeah, it's fairly new, right? So there's really not much out there beyond the interest. This might be one of those cases of Will having interest in a bunch of different players and kind of putting some feelers out there. But the one signing that looks to get ever closer is the Lucas Sanabria signing to the LA Galaxy. Per Daniel Solana, that signing has been concluded for $7 million. He was left out of Nacional's game day squad today against San Lorenzo, and it's been reported that he already has a visa date. Per El Observador, Uruguay's leading newspaper. Hammer, I know that you guys have talked about this one on Corner of the Galaxy. So, how good do you feel on this one? Like, if you were to say, like, this one's going to happen or not happen, what would your guess be on this one?
Yeah, it seems like it's pretty likely. It seems like we're very close to this just being across the line. Him being left out of the Nacional lineup is kind of the everything that you need to know on how things are lining up. So I'm excited to see what he can do. It feels like this is one of those players, that's not going to be, flashy, but he is someone who's going to be able to get the job done. Going back to my
missionary,
my Bruce Arena analogy, very much in that vein. And it kind of reminds me of like a Gaston Brugman. I know they kind of fill in similar roles. And I know with him departing for Nashville, it seems like it's a very similar situation where they could be plugging in. So I like the move. You're replacing, a need that went away to a different team, and you're getting someone who is highly touted and sought after. It just feels like this is a good Galaxy move that's going to, hopefully bring dividends later on. I'm curious with the Gabriel Peck of it all and Joveljic and everything. It seems like the Galaxy are in this development pipeline, and Sanabria kind of fits in that as well, where it seems like there's going to be a point where there's going to be interest and the Galaxy are going to be able to cash out on some of these. And I'm getting way ahead of myself about a player that hasn't even been signed yet, but this is the profile of a player who you get at this age and then you're looking to flip them at a later time. I think we haven't reached that era yet of this LA Galaxy team. And I think that's something where they're collecting all of their, Uno wild cards, and they're just going to hit you with the draw four, wild, draw four, and just keep going after you. It seems like they're building up to a point where that's going to happen.
Well, and it goes back to your earlier point, Hammer, around the Cristiano Ronaldos, the James Rodriguez. That's not our forte anymore. That is no longer our transfer strategy. We're fully in the new phase of MLS. I mean, we have the perfect guy to lead that charge, right? And we see it. I mean, all these moves are are just a clear blueprint of how the LA Galaxy want to move forward. And Rob, the other day I was on the bus when I was in Spain, and I was on the bus ride home, and I listened really quickly again to our Will Kuntz interview, because sometimes when you listen to these things, you pick up on things, and they shed light, right, on certain things. And one of the things that he said was he was really, really proud on how the Galaxy fans, especially last season, embraced, this sort of new approach, because that was one of his big things, was the gamut was trying to convince everyone that, hey, we could do this a different way, right? And so when he heard the fans shout, "We want Peck, we want Peck," that was one of his proudest moments as GM of the Galaxy. And so I think, going into that mode now, looking in the future, I think that's going to be the MO. That's going to be the blueprint. Like Hammer said, we're going to build a really nice pipeline for ourselves and keep this thing self-sustaining, especially in a salary cap league like MLS.
All I got to say is that I hope that the Galaxy loan Marcus Rashford to the team. Nah, if we're
Make it happen.
Womp, womp.
right. Well, it was
the
reported.
Miguel Berry spot.
Yeah, well, it was reported that Seattle had interest in him. So, if Seattle could do it, the Galaxy could do it. But no, guys, that Sanabria transfer is I'd be willing to bet it's probably done. Out of respect for everything that's happening, I'd be willing to bet that the Galaxy just haven't made it official or announced it. They're like Hammer said at the top of the show, there are things that are a little bit more important. And yeah, so I can understand why perhaps it hasn't been announced if it's done. Guys, no real big developments on the Zonka rumors to the Galaxy. Diogo Bagui, like we reported, will most likely decide his future after participation in Ecuador's Sudamericana U20 campaign. Interestingly enough, some contacts there in Ecuador have put me directly in contact with some sources from MLX. So hopefully we get a little bit more context from that deal, or if it's going to happen, or if not. Gino Vivi has extended his loan in Costa Rica, Hammer. So Gino Vivi not going to be with the Galaxy for at least 6 months. What do you think needs to happen with Vivi, Hammer? Do you think it's just time to outright sell him? I mean, obviously he's not been getting the playing time with the Galaxy first team. There is some promise there, but I mean, he's not going to displace your Gabriel Pecci or your JPs, right? So do you think it's just time to get what we can for him?
I liked what I saw from him when he got his minutes, and so it's just a matter of, is he developing when he's there in Costa Rica? So I think if Saprissa is happy with him and they want to make an offer, I think they're not tied to him to where they say, when we're holding on to this gem and it's just a matter of we're not willing to let go of him for a certain price. I think if the right offer came in, it could be time to part ways. But I also think there's a scenario where I talked about it a little bit earlier, that injuries is something that happen, and he's a player that could slot in with the new experience that he's gained playing in a different league to come back and kind of bolster that as a depth piece. I don't hate it. So it's just a matter of, is that going to work out for him in the future, 6 months down the line, 6 months after that, next season? Is that something that's going to develop? Maybe not, but it just doesn't seem like he's high on the LA Galaxy priority list. I liked him as a player, but it's not someone that I liked enough to displace some of our starters or even some of our backups. So it's just a matter of right place, right time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I dug his game at the CVI last year, scored a cracker of a goal off a volley. That I was like, ooh, go on, Vivi. I didn't know you had that. You were saying, like, is he getting that development? He's had 19 appearances in his loan spell so far. I believe 1 or 2 goals as well. So he is playing, but it's like you mentioned, is he actually getting quality minutes? Like, how much is he playing? Like, is he getting the development enough to where he can actually come back and contribute to this Galaxy side? That remains to be seen. Either way, he's not with the Galaxy for the next 6 months. He's with Saprissa. Reports coming out of Argentina that Independiente coach Julio Vacari has put the Galaxy's Julian Aure on his short list to reinforce his squad. Julian Aure, of course, lost his starting spot to John the Rock Nelson earlier in the year. Aude is a U22 player. He's under contract until December 31st, 2027. Hammer, Ananda, were this man to leave Julian Aude to go back to Argentina? Good business for the Galaxy, Hammer?
I think for the right price, yeah, it can
Right.
be. I was just talking about how you're collecting these cards, and it's just a matter of when are you going to start flipping them. I'd love to hold on to Julian Aude, but I think if another team is coming in and willing to make an offer and they want a more and they're able to pay a price, I think unfortunately we've had the fortune of John Nelson on our side to slot in there, and with him being in a U22 spot and having trust in the Galaxy front office, who's to say that you can't go out and get another similar caliber outside back who also fits in the U22 role. It seems like you can, if you're able to get the right price coming in, that maybe it is, let him get that opportunity where he can get more minutes and be a featured piece on a team to, maybe being someone who needs to fight it out a little bit more. I think he is your starter day one for your 2025 LA Galaxy, but also nothing is guaranteed. Things happen. So if someone is going to come and make him a better offer, I doubt he'd be against that. It's just a matter of the front office, it being the right offer for the front office as well.
Yeah,
him going home as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think it's for the right price. But again, this is one of those things where I said it before, Rob, on one of the last shows, which is Will Kuntz's idea of buy low and sell high, right? And it depends on what we get back for him. And then, of course, if we need to find another left back within the league to back up John Nelson or to fight for that starting spot, we can now pay cash, Rob. We can use some of that cash.
Maybe.
Exactly. Cash trades, cash money, right? And then you can find another favorable contract in the league that doesn't take up a U22, that doesn't take up, a TAM or that type of deal. And so, yeah, I think, but it'll be interesting. I think what will decide this, honestly, guys, is his health, his fitness. He's a guy that's had fitness issues most of his playing career with the LA Galaxy. So if he gets a run of games, I think he's usually the starter, and if he stays fit. But if he doesn't stay fit, unfortunately, I feel like his future is going to be very similar to Jalen Neal's, which, I think someone else will displace him, and I think that'll force him move out of the Galaxy.
Well, we already saw him being displaced this year.
Yeah.
I agree with Hammer. We called it in our way too early predictions show. He's going to recover that form and be the Galaxy Comeback Player of the Year. I honestly believe that he looked great at the beginning of the year, getting involved in the attack. Of course, the Galaxy have the benefit that they were able to plug in John Nelson when he went down. Guys, just to let you know, Maya Yoshida, Eric Zavaleta, Brady Scott still in contract negotiations. Maya was in England, also getting some love from Southampton. Hammer, we're gonna wrap it up with this one big question for you, right? And we've already kind of touched on it lightweight. If we assume that Zanka, Sanabria, the Galaxy somehow find a way to sign Dayon, re-sign Dayon, right? For the money that he thinks he's owed. Are the Galaxy still title favorites? Where would you rank them now that you see Austin making moves, San Jose making moves? LAFC made a couple of signings today. Where are you putting them in terms of how they stack up against these teams? Are they still the favorites for the Supporters Shield, MLS Cup? Or are they even in your top four now, being that they haven't made a bunch of moves?
I think you said the magic number. I think they're probably right there at number 4. I think they're not going to be favorites to win the Supporters Shield without Ricky Puig for an extended amount of time. I think you can possibly dream of an MLS Cup run, because then if you're getting Puig coming back and getting into health, you're able to, survive the season and, remain in a playoff spot. We know what can happen when you get hot at the right time. I think that's something that you can't rule out, given now that these players have the right experience. But I think as much as people are going to hate it, Inter Miami now kind of knows what the rules are. They treated last season winning the Supporters Shield, the regular season, not that they, overlooked the playoffs, but I think they treated the regular season like it was a marquee moments, and they held on and earned that Supporters Shield. And then when it got to the playoffs, it seemed like it was a given that it's going to happen. I think with that experience of that first round exit, they're going to come back knowing that maybe we don't need to throw it all out for the Supporters Shield win, and then we can turn it on in the playoffs with Messi and co. I think Miami's going to be right there. I think Seattle is going to be another one of those teams who is going to be bolstered with all the trades that they have going on. They're going to be eager to make those moves. We saw what they were able to do on a quote unquote poor season, still making it to the Western Conference Finals. So I think they're going to be right there, top of the West. And so from there, who knows, maybe San Jose can be the breakout team. Maybe someone like Columbus, who's always in the mix. Cincinnati's always in the mix. But I think Galaxy could be team number 3 or team number 4 in that mix.
Ananda, Galaxy make the top 4 next year? Yes or no?
I'm not going to back away from my our way too early season predictions, man. I think Hammer just said it. I think the magic number is going to be 4. A lot of that probably has to do with just the return of Ricky Puig and how he comes back. And Hammer always talks about peaking at the right time. If we can peak at the right time when Ricky Puig comes back, right, at the sort of the last 10 game stretch of the season, that's going to be it. But again, all these Western Conference teams are retooling, man. Hammer just talked about LAFC, talked about Seattle. I mean, look, I would have said Austin would have been a top 4 team had Drusy stayed. Of course, we're going to have to see how that saga plays out. So yeah, man. And then of course, San Jose, and don't forget about teams like Minnesota. Minnesota gave us a run for our money. They're always a tough team, and they're a well-coached team, right? Even though we blitz them, they are that just shows, I think, our quality, but they are a very good team. And remember, guys, just 2 seasons ago, I know they had a down year last year, but St. Louis was top of the West. So there's always that one team that surprises us out of nowhere. Of course, this year, maybe on paper, that looks like to be San Jose, but who knows? There could be another team out there that just has a magical run. I mean, don't forget about St. Louis and Roman Berkey and sort of the foundations that they've laid out, even though they've had a down season last year. But again, based off of all the roster stuff, the competition just continuing to increase. And on top of Robert, fixture congestion, we talked about it a lot with Katia last year. We're going to be in 4 cup competitions. So it's going to be tough, man. But yeah, I think we're going to be 4 or 5 thereabouts. Again, way too early prediction. I have the right to change my opinion.
Yeah, of course you always do. I agree. I think we're going to see a Galaxy team that's in the top 4, but it's going to be hard to be towards that first or second spot again. It's going to get even harder. There's another team in the league. I believe the Podfather at one point said, now you see a Galaxy team that has a 1 in 30 shot of winning MLS Cup. However, I am bolstered by the fact that Greg Vanney and Edwin Cedillo had the right tone and the things you want to hear from them at Media Day for MLS. And Vanney said, putting 1 trophy in the cabinet is a good start, but now it's about being able to replicate that and do more. Edwin said, tenemos esa mentalidad de ir a ganar la séptima. We have that mentality to go out and win the 7th. So, Hammer, last question before we get out of here. Do the Galaxy win a trophy next year, whether it's MLS Cup, whether it's the CONCACAF Champions, Leagues Cup, or the Campeones Cup?
I think they do win a cup. I see a situation where they can make a run in CONCACAF Champions Cup and have everything line up similar to how it did with their MLS Cup run, where maybe they don't take the season as seriously as those CONCACAF Champions Cup. We saw what Seattle did when they they didn't throw away their regular season, but they really valued, that CONCACAF Champions Cup run, and that's where they put their eggs in that basket to make it happen. So that can happen. And then your backup plan, your fail-safe is that Campeones Cup. That's one match. All you have to do is win one match.
One off.
You
right.
Just have one night where it all goes right, and you can walk home with a trophy. So I think there are good chances of them coming away. If you give me those 4 competitions, I think walking away with a trophy is a possibility.
Well, you heard it here first, chat. Lacuna Galaxians, Hammer is calling the Galaxy to win a trophy. He's not saying which one. However, you know what?
Campeones Cup. Mark it down.
Campeones Cup.
I'm going to say it with my chest. They're winning Campeones Cup.
They're winning Campeones Cup.
Yeah,
you heard it here first. The exclusive, the Hammer prediction, him going full Brujo one more time on this podcast. Campeones Cup or bus. I called CONCACAF Champions Cup. I thought they might have a chance to win that one. But Yeah, I agree with you. I think they pick up a trophy next year. Well, I think that just about wraps it up for us, Ananda. We want to thank the Portuguese Hammer once again for hanging out with us. Hammer, you have any last words before we get on out of here?
No, I appreciate always fun chatting with you guys, talking LA Galaxy. I could do this all day long and speaking with, like-minded individuals who have the same passion and the same, engine for it, and just having it feel you. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you guys and chit chat. So thanks for inviting me on. Always a pleasure, and wishing you guys the best this season.
Thank you, Hammer.
Thanks, Hammer.
We always love our time with you. Real quick, coming out to the CVI?
That's the goal. It's funny how quickly this preseason is coming. So it's just a matter of things lining up with dates and weekends and flights and everything lining up. I'd love to go. I haven't been, since its inception. So I'd love to go, and with, more teams joining and it becoming more and more of a thing. It's just going to be a matter of time before I head out. So I'm going to try my best, but nothing confirmed yet.
We hope to see you, man. We hope to give you a big bear hug out there in the desert. Guys, go out and show the Hammer some love here in chat. We always love to have him here with us. Anandita, we're going to get on out of here. Anything else to add before we do?
Nope, I'm just gonna echo Matt here. You heard the Hammer 2025 quadruple. Let's go. Not 13.
You know what? I didn't
Not
say
13.
it, but go for it. Lock it in. Appreciate Matt in comments there. Yeah, I love that.
2025 quadruple. Geez, sheesh. Let's do it. Well, Anandita, chat for us here at La Cuna Galaxiana, and the Hammer, who was nice enough to join us. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. A reminder, we are on a Monday schedule, so just before the CVI. We'll be back with you next Monday, January 20th at 9 p.m. If you are here, it's because you found us at youtube.com/@La Cuna Galaxiana. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast, and go ahead and put someone on. Go ahead and subscribe. Like Ananda said, only 1/3 of you guys that are in chat have subscribed, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and we'll see you next Monday. Only one thing left to say besides Vamos Campeones, LA Strong, and G.